What is up, everybody? Tyler Fullerton here with the Fullerton Nutrition Q&A show. Whatever questions you guys have with weight loss, keto, low carb, Atkins, whatever the heck you're trying to do, get that fat off the body, drop those questions below. You guys have those questions. I come back and answer all those questions that you have, making it super simple to get that fat off the body, letting you know exactly what I do and what I've always had my clients do. So with that, let's jump right into it. Sally Minix asks, have been on keto for a week and have not lost a thing. So whenever I get this question, people have been on keto, they're struggling, they're not getting results, I always ask three questions. Are you tracking calories? Are you doing all carbs or net carbs? And are you working out? So those are the three questions, and literally the three main reasons why people are not getting results is because, one, if they're not eating enough, or if they're not tracking, they could be overeating. So that's why it's super important to track, because you can pinpoint exactly what's going on and you can see why you're not getting results. So with that, all carbs or net carbs. So if you're doing keto or whatnot, low carb, if you're counting net carbs, I've seen so many people who switch from net carbs to all carbs break fast. So many people reach out with this question, and I always ask if they're doing net or all, and they are doing net carbs. And I'm like, look, do 1 week of all carbs, see what happens, and boom, they start breaking that stall and start getting those results again. And then if you're working out, so I never talk about the scale. The scale doesn't matter. If you're working out, you have to go off of how you look, how you feel, how your pants are fitting, because you're starting to put on muscle mass. And no, muscle does not weigh more than fat. Muscle is just more dense than fat. If you lose this much fat, but you put on this much muscle, it's going to equal out to the same amount on the scale. So just be mindful of that. So answer those questions for me. Let me know. Drop a comment below on the bottom of that. But as always, guys, as these questions are coming out, ask your questions here, because I'm going to come back and answer them all. I will post the Fullerton Nutrition Q&As on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So everything you asked from Thursday to Tuesday, I will answer them all on Tuesday, and then from Tuesday to Thursday, we'll go on the Q&A on Thursdays. So with that, TZ Tiger asks, what about intermittent fasting on keto? So intermittent fasting is an absolute game changer. If you guys watch the Fullerton Nutrition Daily on YouTube, I talked about intermittent fasting actually for tomorrow. So that's the topic of the day for tomorrow, is intermittent fasting. I drop a lot of good little feedback with intermittent fasting and how I do it, and the best way I've seen it work for me and my clients. But with intermittent fasting, it works tremendously. One, with the hormones. Two, it helps you be insulin sensitive. So towards the very end of your fast, you're more insulin sensitive. So that's the best time to take in any type of carbs, is because your body's gonna actually use that insulin, the glucose, the sugars and everything like that, the carbs, actually as energy instead of being insulin resistant and starting to store it as fat. So you got insulin resistant, and then you got insulin sensitive. So insulin sensitive, your body's gonna actually be using carbs and sugars as energy, and then insulin resistant, you're gonna actually start storing that as fat. So that's another really good benefit. But one, hormonally, just alone, at the end of a fast, you have higher HGH levels than you do right after eating a meal. So that's a huge factor with growth hormone and anti-aging and stuff like that. So be mindful of that intermittent fasting. Kelly asks, where to start? So I get this question a lot. I see this question a lot. And with that question, where to start? Download MyFitnessPal. Start tracking your calories. That's literally what you need. That's how you got to start. And then once you do that for a week, then start looking at your macronutrients. So how I break down my macros, how I make it super simple with that and the percentages, because you still have to take in the right amount of macros. So people are like, well, do you track calories or macros? If you're tracking your macros, you're hitting your calories, because 1 gram of fat, 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories, and then 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. So these will all add up to the certain amount of calories that you need to take in, because they will add up to those. So how I break mine down is, for my fat, I'm doing 60% of my calories from fat, and then from the carbs, I'm doing about 5%, but really it's like 20 grams of carbs. And then for protein, I am doing 35%. So it is very important to hit your protein goals. You're gonna start losing your hair, your skin, your nails are gonna start to get brittle because you're lacking protein. That's why it drives me insane when people say, watch out how much protein you take in. Guess what? If you're calorie deficient, your proteins are not going to turn into sugars and glucose, because your body's going to use the proteins as energy and it's going to burn it for the calories. So you don't need to stress out about the proteins of taking in too much protein. So that's why I do 35% protein. I see a lot of people doing 20%, and people are talking about losing their hair, and that is why, because of the lack of protein. So make sure you guys are getting in those proteins. But with MyFitnessPal, this is how I will break down the macros. And that is 60% fat, 35% protein, 5% carbs, but around 20 grams of carbs. So really with my 2,400 calories to lose weight, it's literally less than the 5% of carbs. So that's how I would start. Hit your calories, download MyFitnessPal to track your calories, and have meat and fats on all of your meals, and you will be golden. Meat and veggies, and you will be just fine. I can't stress that enough. I see that happen a lot. That question comes up a lot. And again, guys, I appreciate you a ton asking questions. There's no dumb questions, so don't be afraid to comment on here and drop a question with whatever you guys need help with. And as always, I have everything on my website, FullertonNutrition.com. Again, FullertonNutrition.com. Everything is on there. I literally have step by step. I even have my entire workout program, that what I always have my clients do and stuff like that. So you have literally no excuse to not get results. It just all comes down to you actually starting and doing it. So stop watching all these videos and not starting. Start. You don't know how much farther along you could be to getting closer to your goals if you would have just started yesterday instead of saying I'm going to start tomorrow, because you said that yesterday. All right, so Mara Worth 0811 asks, have been on keto for 3 weeks, have lost 9 pounds in 2 weeks. Week 3, nothing. So that question that I always ask, are you tracking your calories? So here's the thing with keto low carb. Your first week or two, yes, you're gonna get results on the scale, but that's just water weight. But the thing is, because carbs and sugars retain water in the body. So that's why people get the keto flu. It's just lacking electrolytes. The cure for that one, to get a lot of electrolytes, potassium, cream of tartar, pink salt, pink Himalayan salt's loaded in magnesium. So I mix those two in water, and I'll drink those in the morning or whenever I get a chance to actually mix that up. I just sprinkle some and I don't measure it, but that usually will get rid of the keto flu within like 30 minutes. So for people like cramping up and stuff like that, it's just lack of electrolytes. So that's why the scale will show results so quickly. It's just water weight. But I'll ask you the same question like I ask everybody else. Are you tracking your calories? Are you doing net carbs or all carbs? Honestly, I already know what it is. It's not eating enough. 90% of the time that people are not getting results because they're not eating enough calories. Everyone's always like, Tyler, I'm definitely eating enough. I'm like, okay, so download MyFitnessPal and calculate everything, put in everything that you ate from yesterday. I bet you are 500 to 600 calories under where you should be. So let me know below where you're should be and where you're at. So on my website too, you can go to FullertonNutrition.com. I have a calorie calculator on there. I love it. It's just, it's real simple. You just put in your height, weight, age, and activity level, so you can drop your numbers in there, and it'll actually spit out some good calorie intake of what I would be around. I like that one better than MyFitnessPal, and definitely Carb Manager. Carb Manager drives me crazy, gives people way too many low of calories. So check it out. Go to FullertonNutrition.com, go to the top left menu, and then hit Tools, and it'll pop right up for you. And then there's literally a video on there explaining why it's so important to hit your calories. I cannot stress that enough. Hitting your calories is literally more important than taking out all your carbs. Definitely more important. 90% of the people are starving themselves, and your body's gonna go into starvation mode and start burning your own fat burning your own muscle as energy because it needs protein and calories. Best calorie tracker, Danny2410 asks, MyFitnessPal, I love that one. It's really simple, has a barcode scanner on there as well, and it does not subtract net carbs. It does all carbs instead of net carbs. So it does all carbs. I like that a lot better than the net carbs. So I like MyFitnessPal for sure. You don't need to pay for it. It's free. So make sure of that. You don't need to pay for it. Ramiro, I can't even pronounce this. If you're type 2 and a sugar is high at like 190, can you be in ketosis? 190 is super high, so no, you can't be in ketosis with that high of sugar levels. That's why keto works so well. Cutting out all those sugars is going to bring down your sugar levels tremendously. Like almost to where it's fasting levels. So 190 for your sugar level is extremely high. So no, you can't be in ketosis with that. Shelly asks, I recently started keto diet as I've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. That's great that you're starting this because it can tremendously help. It's been shown to help with type 2 diabetes. How do I know how many calories I should be eating a day to begin weight loss? So with that, like I said, just go to FullertonNutrition.com, go to the tool, go to menu, go to tools, and I would put in your info and see what the calorie calculator gives you. So that formula is off, so it's from a formula. I didn't make the formula, it was already on there. So that's where I would go find out, see how many calories you need to be at. I appreciate that question. That was off of YouTube. I have gastric sleeve surgery 3 years ago. This is from Robin. I've gained back 20 pounds. I need to figure out what to do. I typically work out 3 times a week. I maintain my current weight for 3 years. Any tips? All right, so 20 pounds, I need to figure out what to do. I typically work out 3 times. So let me ask you, if you started working out, because I know people who start with a gastric sleeve, you can't work out, so you probably started putting on muscle mass. So I wouldn't be too stressed about it. Are your pants fitting differently around the waist? Are your clothes fitting differently? That's the question you got to ask. How are your before and afters looking? That's what the scale you guys need to start going off of. Stop going on the scale that actually gives you numbers. Go off the scale that actually you can see, like a before and after, measurements, and how those clothes are fitting. So with that, who knows if you're eating, are you eating differently? Like there's so many different factors on there. And if you just started working out, then that's what the weight is coming from. Because when you don't work out for like a year, and then all of a sudden you start working out again, you will put on weight quickly with the lean muscle mass. So that's why I don't tell my clients ever to worry about the scale, because it's about how you look and how you feel. I always say this, would you rather the scale look good or you look good? All right, so Heidi says, I tried messaging you, but would you know what can help change your body from being insulin resistant? So went over that one at the very beginning of this one, so I love this question. So with being insulin resistant, what happens is you're going to start to store fat with being insulin resistant. So insulin sensitive, so intermittent fasting can help tremendously with that. Cutting all your carbs and sugars will help with that as well too. It could take a little bit of time to be insulin sensitive, so it will take some time, but apple cider vinegar can help as well, lower those blood sugars. So just cutting those carbs and sugars will absolutely drop it. Instead of doing white rice, doing the brown. If you are taking in those carbs and sugars, do complex carbs. It's going to take longer for the body to break them down and digest them, so you can't have a high insulin spike on it. But as always, guys, if you guys have questions, drop those comments below, because they will be answered on the Fullerton Nutrition Daily on YouTube and Facebook. So if you're not hitting that like, subscribe button, make sure to do it. Share this out. You don't know how many people could be using this help and start to get that fat off the body, because it is crazy on what happens when people get more confident just in self-esteem, feeling better and looking better. So hit that share button, hit the like button. Remember, everything's on FullertonNutrition.com. And as always, remember your why. And thank you guys all for asking those questions, because I will keep on answering them.